So I have the green candle pants. You know, we're wearing green instead of orange. And I have the
rocket socks.
Bitcoin Moon sock game. And it's not just, you know, when Moon kind of Lambo. No, this bull market that's just getting started, like we haven't even gotten to crypto fall. That doesn't happen till June. The halving is still yet to come. And we have one more, let's call it SpaceX like explosion that was planned, right? You know, after the Ides of March, before tax season this year, there's one more selling wave that's coming. And people are gonna go, oh my God, it's over. No.
Mark Yusko, the founder, CIO, and managing director of Morgan Creek Capital Investments, is one of the most influential voices in the rapidly evolving cryptocurrency space. Mark is a visionary as well as an expert in the subject, with a track record that speaks for itself. During a recent interview with Scott Melker, Mark Yusko provided his thoughts on the recent surge in the price of Bitcoin, which has sent the cryptocurrency past $52,000 for the first time in more than 2 years. Defying the present trend of cautious optimism, Mark says with audacity that this current upsurge is only the beginning of what is to come. This well-known hedge fund manager believes that we are still in the middle of the crypto summer, a period of time marked by consistent gains. But Mark predicts that the real fireworks will start in June and continue into the following year in a parabolic fashion. Although there is excitement about the possibility of a parabolic ascension, Mark Yusko also warns against it. As we get closer to the impending halving event in April, he expects another sell-off and tempers enthusiasm by pointing out that there might be FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the market. Mark leads us through the turbulent landscape with his well-seasoned viewpoint, which is based on years of market study. Mark downplays worries about a big market effect in response to recent reports about Genesis Global Holdco LLC's clearance to sell off its $1.3 billion in GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust investments. Genesis intends to carry out the sale carefully and progressively, working with a brokerage and adhering to a predetermined strategy. In reaction to recent rumors on Genesis Global Holdco LLC's approval to sell off its $1.3 billion in GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust investments, Mark downplays concerns about a significant market impact. Genesis plans to proceed with the sale gradually and cautiously, collaborating with a brokerage and following a predetermined plan. So let's hear what Mark Yusko has to say.
Every year there are two something burgers, and they are bigger 3 out of the 4 years. In fact, they don't really happen in the fourth year, because the bad year, there are no gains to worry about. But what happens the Lunar New Year, every year, we just had it, before Lunar New Year, there's a bunch of selling in China to fill up the red envelopes with cash. And it has happened every year since Bitcoin was started, and everybody's like, why is there selling pressure? Do you not understand 1.6 billion people filling up red envelopes with cash? They sell some Bitcoin. So that's one. And so we survived that. That was no problem. And that actually coincided with the GBTC liquidations and all that good stuff. But then you have Uncle Sam has to get paid. And you know what's amazing? It's amazing. Man, government, we don't care about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a fraud. It just doesn't matter. It's the fifth question on tax
return. It's insane.
It's the fifth question. So even though they don't care about it, and look, after a really good year, and last year was a really good year, up 155%. So there's gonna be some taxes due. And people are gonna sell to pay taxes. And that happens every 3 out of the 4 years, because you get 3 good years and a bad year, 3 good years and a bad year, 3 good years and a bad year. And Tim Peterson, who I love Tim, just put out this morning this cool thing that we just yesterday, over the 52 weeks, exactly 100%. And that has happened, I can't remember exactly how many times he said, but in every instance, the next 12 months, we're up 100%. So that's interesting. I think we are exactly on schedule. And I've actually been talking about this for a while. I mean, you and I talked about this 9 months ago, 9 or 10 months ago, it doesn't matter. And I've talked about it every Friday on the Margin Show for over a year, that the 4-year cycle exists because of the halving. Embeds this natural proclivity for price to rise. Otherwise, the miners, who are integral to the success of the protocol, would find themselves in a pinch because their electricity costs and space costs are fixed. So long story short, you have this cycle. And the cycle is exacerbated by humans, like the people watching the show. And, there are investors people who buy assets when they're below their fair value. There are traders who don't give a shit about fair value. They just like to trade movement. There are speculators, which are the other side of hedgers. Hedgers are people who like produce things and have to sell, like the miners or oil producers. But then there are the gamblers, and the gamblers are the people who don't understand or really care. They just want number go up, and then they buy on leverage. And that's what pushes us to the crazy parabolic blow off top.
Mark Yusko's optimistic outlook of Bitcoin's future trajectory in 2024 resonates with Anthony Scaramucci, an important figure in the cryptocurrency space and founder of Skybridge Capital. In a recent X post, Scaramucci shares his optimism in what he terms a face-melting rally for Bitcoin, highlighting that investors still have time to take advantage of the opportunity even as the cryptocurrency continues to rise beyond $52,000 per coin. Scaramucci answers no with conviction when asked if there is still a chance to purchase, thereby eliminating any uncertainty among regular investors. The creator of Skybridge provides a thoughtful piece outlining 3 critical elements that he believes will drive Bitcoin's price even higher before the bull market ends. These factors include the current downward trend in interest rates, the upcoming Bitcoin halving event, and the spike in demand for spot Bitcoin through exchange-traded funds, ETFs. According to Scaramucci, the increasing demand made possible by ETFs will bring in significant amounts of fresh capital, leading to what he eloquently calls a face-ripping rally for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Returning to the discussion with Mark Yusko, we learn more about his outlook for the bull markets of 2024 and 2025. Furthermore, Mark illuminates the pointlessness of attempting to crush the Bitcoin sector, offering a thorough perspective on the obstacles and prospects that await. Let's listen to his following words.
This is fair value. Fair value, according to, again, to Tim's Metcalfe's Law model, and I've been using the Metcalfe's Law model since 2014, Metcalfe's Law is the definitive way of calculating the value of a network. Any network, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Apple, whether it's Bitcoin. And so the Metcalfe's Law model said that fair value is about 52,000. Now I've been rounding it to 50 to make it easy. But when we were at 25, not that long ago, I was like, look, we're going to migrate slowly toward fair value of 50. And guess what? Here we are, almost up to the halving. But then what happens is the halving in previous cycles doubles the fair value. Like, well, what do you mean? Well, think about it. If the block rewards go down in half, the price has to adjust upward 100% to keep the revenues the same. Now, this time there's a subtle difference. So what I was saying before ordinals was that at the halving this year, now it's going to be April 8th, which is kind of a coincidence. That is a total solar eclipse, which I think is an interesting day to have the halving. But anyway, and so that 100K number was my base case, but then ordinals happened and transactions went up and transaction fees went up. So it's possible, and I'm still working on this part. It's possible that fair value only goes to 75 or 80. Let's just say 75. So then the investors have been buying all this time up to fair value. Okay. Well, now we have new people. We have traders. We have speculators because the hedgers are selling. The gamblers haven't even showed up yet. Once they show up and once the leverage starts, then we go right through fair value. So right past 75. Probably in history, we go to 2.3x.
I was going to say we more than doubled it. Yeah.
Yeah, at the peak. We go to 2.3x at the peak. So we went to 69 on a fair value of 30 or 68. And so I don't think we'll go 2.3 times because I think there's less leverage. I think we go 2 times fair value. That's 150. So sometime between Thanksgiving this year and June of the following year, that's when we see the new all-time high. And
in his discussion of Bitcoin's fair worth, Mark Yusko applies the Metcalfe's Law model. Yusko has been utilizing Metcalfe's Law, a formula for determining a network's worth, since 2014. The estimated fair value of Bitcoin is $52,000 based on the Metcalfe Law model. A number of variables, including transactions, network utilization, and other data, affect this figure. For simplicity's sake, Yusko has been rounding it to $50,000. He points out that the Bitcoin halving event, which halves block rewards, has doubled the fair value in the past. This is because lower block rewards force the price to rise in order to keep miners' profits stable. Yusko does see a little variation in the present cycle. He initially expected Bitcoin's fair value to reach $100,000 after the upcoming halving, which is scheduled for April 8th. However, due to increased transactions and transaction fees, he revises his estimate. He suggests that fair value might only reach $75,000 or $80,000. This means that investors who have been buying Bitcoin up to fair value may see a potential increase in their holdings. Next, Yusko talks about how the entry of traders and speculators into the market might cause the value of Bitcoin to rise above fair value. He believes that if these parties become involved, the price may exceed fair value and perhaps double it to about $150,000. According to his prediction, this may occur between Thanksgiving of this year and June of the next year, pushing Bitcoin to all-time high levels. Until the next time, happy investing.